what's going on? I'm Chasing Sports Media here. Today I'm here to kind of predict some of the fights pending the outcome of 287, or more so, after the outcome of UFC 287, where we saw Israel Adesanya retake his belt from Alex Pereira in a magnificent fashion, the KO. Right. So I mean that was awesome. It was just a really fun sight to see, and but now it's kind of time to get in what's next for these fighters and who's going next, right? When it comes to the champion, Israel Adesanya, if I had to sit in here and say who his next fight is, although it's hard to call, everyone wants to say Khamzat, right? Everyone wants to say Khamzat Chimaev, but truthfully, I do think that Khamzat Chimaev needs to fight someone like Marvin Vettori, Paulo Costa, that's in that top 3, in that top 5, to then get a title shot. So I do think they go Robert Whittaker, the trilogy, even though obviously Adesanya is up 2-0, where Adesanya did win one of them in a decision that could have went to Robert Whittaker. A lot of people think they did, but nonetheless, I do think they give him the trilogy. Robert Whittaker has done nothing but greatness, and he deserves the one more shot. Unfortunately, he probably wish Pereira wins because his style might be really good against Pereira. But yeah, that kind of sucks. But nonetheless, it's all good. It's all good. Next, we have a guy like Alex Pereira, and this one's hard to call, right? Because is he moving up to 205? And I really do hope he goes up to 205. I really do. I think that'll be good for him to go up to 205, pending that loss. I think he's just so big, and that cut is so tough for him, right? That cut has been so hard for him for a long time, right? There's a lot of guys in that division, in that light heavyweight division, that you could really look towards, even though it's kind of in a crappy situation as we speak. Truthfully, you got guys like Yuri, Mahagad, you got Jan. It's kind of in a bad situation, right, where it's wide open. But there is a fight coming up, and that's Anthony Smith versus Johnny Walker. Anthony Smith currently being the 5th ranked light heavyweight, and Johnny Walker being the 7th ranked heavyweight or light heavyweight. So I think you give Pereira Anthony Smith. I think you give him, or sorry, not Anthony Smith, but I think you give him the winner of Johnny Walker and Anthony Smith, and I personally think it's going to be Anthony Smith. So I think you give him the winner there to get him kind of ranked in the light heavyweight, to get him in there, get his name up. I think that'd be really good for him. If not, who's he gonna fight at middleweight? Does he want a Khamzat? You know what I mean? Does he want another title shot? Which I think he's going to fight a few more guys to get back up to that, right? But the light heavyweight is wide open. I think he would cause terror to that division. I think when you're talking about Gilbert Burns, I think you go ahead and give him Bilal Muhammad and let them two duke it out for a whoever wins gets a title shot kind of match. And I think that's the fairest for both of them. Gilbert Burns, obviously, he beat Neil Magny, which everyone did, and then he beat Jorge, who just retired. So it's not like those 2 wins are fantastic, and he did lose his title shot and then did lose to Khamzat. Bilal has been on a very good winning streak as of recently, and he's looked like he's the most deserving, but I think it'll take one win for Bilal to prove that to not us, but to Dana and whatnot. So I think if them two duke it out, that would be perfect for them. Right. Next, we have Rob Font, who won in a great fashion. Rob Font went out there as the underdog going against a young, hungry Yanez, right? And he went out there, and as we know, it was going to be a boxing match. It was going to be a striking match. And he went out there and knocked Yanez out. First round KO. He used his beautiful jab, worked into an uppercut, got him on the ground, and finished him. It was beautiful, guys. It was awesome, and it was cool to see Rob Font kind of turn back the clock and kind of take all the doubters and the haters out of the way. When you're looking at his next match, right, currently ranked number 6. I'm not sure if they moved him up or not yet. But a lot of people are going to look at this and say Peter Yan. Put Peter in there. But I kind of took a little bit different. I watched a few videos and went on Twitter, kind of see who I want to kind of him to fight next. And there is an upcoming bout in May. I think it's in May, when you have Yang Sedang going against Ricky Simone. I kind of want him to fight the winner of that one, and I think it's going to be Yadong. I think Yadong is gonna pull through and beat Simone. And that's why I kind of think Font versus Yadong would be great. Yadong is obviously very, very fast, a great striker, and so is Rob. So it would be another fun matchup. It'd be another good for a fight night. But definitely, that's a fight I want to see. And then, kind of going off of that, wherever Peter stands then, whoever he fights, maybe then you can get a Font and Peter Yan matchup to kind of get back on the top of things. But I do think next for Rob, he does fight Yadong, and I really like that. I like that matchup for both of them. I think it'd be both good for them to put a name in again, put their name in the hat, for the top 5, top 6 guys, and yeah, that's what I think is going for Font next. And the last fighter I kind of wanted to talk about and like predict their next fight was Kevin Gastelum. Looked like he turned back to Page. Had that very long layoff, coming off a losing streak. He obviously was looking like a shell of his former self. The same guy who took Israel Adesanya 5 rounds, who just won the title. Kevin obviously was falling off the rankings, wasn't looking very good, and he had a matchup against Chris Curtis, and it ended up being the fight of the night, man. It was so great. It was just 3 rounds of hell for both of them. The striking was phenomenal by both of them. There was a headbutt that Kelvin had landed, and many had thought that led to his victory, but you can never be sure. Definitely great. I really liked it a lot. But we have guys in that division that are making a statement right now, and I think Gastelum was one of them, and Chris Curtis will also. I think he's not done. Obviously you have a guy like Roman Dolidze, who is coming off that loss to Martin Vettori at UFC 286. But again, that was a great matchup. That was a great fight for both of them, and many people had thought that Roman won that fight. You know what I mean? But in the end, they did give it to Marvin Vettori. So, which kind of sucks because I also thought Roman won that fight. But I think if we can get Gastelum and Kelvin in the same ring, that would be another fight of the night. They both look great in their recent performances. They're both just stand-up strikers, get the job done. You know what I mean? I think it would be great. Kelvin, obviously, the issue with Kelvin is I put Jack Hermanson down there in honorable mention, but yeah, Jack Hermanson did heel hook him in round 1. You never know if they're going to go again just to fight for the rankings, but Jack Hermanson's also going with Brendan Allen in June. And if, I don't know, I always thought that one of them could fight Kelvin, but I don't think either of them are going to fight down. So I think it's good for Kelvin to fight another one coming off a loss like Roman. Which would be just a great fight because I really do like Roman. I think they both complement each other well, and it would make up for a really good match. But yeah, that's who I have Kelvin fighting next. If you guys disagree with any of these, just let me know in the comments. Right, just tell me who you guys agree with, who you guys disagree with, and I would love to get back to you guys on this. But these are my takes. Again, put your takes in below. Thank you guys for the continued support, and as always, have a great day.